Hello, my name is Randy, and I'm your go-to guy. I'm the Mr. Goosinator. I'm reaching out to all the past customers and all the newbies that are out there, and new people that have problems with Canada geese. Canada geese are very prolific in America, and the problem with them, like any grazing animal, is they take in lots of grass in this case, and because of that, they end up circulating through that and end up pooping out a whole bunch of it during the day to a point where, sad fact but true, every goose poops 28 times a day. And so when you get several hundred or several thousand out there, they produce big problems. And the big problem is geese have learned to like what we provide them. You don't see too many Canada geese out in the middle of a field where we don't mind them. Where they are is they like exactly what we provide them. They like short grass, not long grasses, and they end up getting more nutrition from that by pulling the roots of those out and eating those as well. So, and geese are not afraid of people. For the most part, they realize that people won't hurt them, and so they're in all of our parks and parks and recreation across America. They're in our cemeteries, in our homeowners associations, and they present all these problems for all of this. So my brother-in-law, who worked in the golf course industry, came to me because later you'll be able to look around a little bit, but I'm into radio-controlled airplanes and other craft. And my brother-in-law asked if I could come up with something that could work better than the best thing so far. And the best thing so far, up until about 10 years ago, is a trained dog. But it has to be trained. The geese are still federally protected to where you're only allowed to haze them. And hazing them is harassing them, showing them ugly characteristics, but you can never even touch a goose, okay? So because of that, I had to come up with something that represents a predator to them, okay? To them that is under man's control. So if you have any kind of problems with geese, what you do is you actually get one of my Goosinators, and what you do, and these are in the middle of being built right now, what you do is you take this and you run very slowly, and it works best if they see it as a predator, and it works best if you act like a predator. So it's actually a slow motion kind of thing to where what you do is you stalk the animals, then you herd them all together, and then what you try and do is get them all to fly at once. And by doing that, you slowly S towards them like a predator. And what you would find is not only the look do they not like of the Goosinator, but they don't like the sound, the electronic sound. It has electric motor, okay, up front, and you use an airplane propeller. And all you do is simply S back and forth like a sheepdog, similar to a sheepdog, and pretty soon they all fly. And geese are the smartest waterfowl bird out there. And because of that, when they all have to fly, they talk to each other, and they basically say, wow, wasn't that a big bad predator back there? We need to leave, right? So what they normally do is they'll leave from grassy areas. And where's their sanctuary? Their sanctuary is always the water. So geese always want to go to the water because they know they can get away from any of their natural predators by simply going in the water, okay? And so I knew that when, in my research, I learned that you had to have a predator that signifies a predator to them, but can go anywhere a goose can go. And that's the hard part. Dogs, we all know that a goose can outswim a dog, so dogs don't work in the water. So people that use in places that use trained dogs scare them. Where do they go? They go into the water, and then they use like a radio-controlled boat. But a radio-controlled boat, geese are so smart, they know the difference between a man-made nuisance, which is a toy, okay, to a point where they'll flutter a little, get out of the way, let it go right on by, and then they'll settle right back down, saying that thing won't hurt me. So when coming out with this, I knew that I had to consult a study that Cornell University did, and they did a study on all the characteristics that geese hate the most. And there's no big secrets. It's characteristics of their natural predators, which are foxes, coyotes, bobcats out east, that kind of thing. And if you look at this, all the things that came up in that study are things like they don't like big teeth, they don't like big eyes, They don't like anything reflective or silver-like, okay? And what I did is I took every one of those characteristics and tried to accentuate it. So this isn't just plain old orange. This is a fluorescent orange that they can see from a long ways away. Geese they're not colorblind. They can see colors very well. So they see all the nasty characteristics of this, and they don't like it, especially once you get them to fly. They then do what? They go into the water. Then you put this in the water, and they never have a predator with these characteristics that come out after them in the water. So when this one does, they remember what it is. And like I said earlier, it's powered with an electric motor that has a propeller, and they don't like it's not that loud to us, but it's right in the frequencies the geese and all animals really don't like. They don't like the electronic sound and the propeller sound. And so both the sound and the look of this really get their attention right away to a point where when it's coming towards them, they want to leave. So I've sold more than 500 of these all across the United States. I happen to be in the city of Denver, and my brother-in-law's golf course that I tried to help their problem with had big problems with geese tearing up their greens and the collars around the greens. And as soon as we came out with this, we could test it and run it. And I had a few failed attempts trying different things that fly and stuff, and they don't work. This ended up being the best design. And so I ended up selling them to both golf courses and parks and rec departments, to a point where the city of Denver uses 7 different Goosinators to keep their parks clear and clean. Okay, I've also sold it to the biggest places that have problems are all up and down the East Coast, all up and down the West Coast, and then the river valleys down through the middle. So I happen to sell quite a few in Denver, but then they're all over the place, to a point where I want to show you on a map where I found geese are. But and then if you take a look at this line of this map of the United States, you'll see that it's all wide open. There's geese everywhere except where this black line is. And I've noticed that geese don't fly through that area. Sometimes they'll fly through in migrating, but what geese have learned, is that they don't need to fly south for the winter like they used to. And the biggest reason why is because we, as humans, give them a food supply. Again, they like the short grasses, not the long grasses. So the cold doesn't bother them. So what they have learned is if they stay here, they can get enough of a food supply just to get through the few months to where it's really cold. And then soon after that, it's not long before they're breeding and making new nests. And the little ones, wherever a goose is born, that's home to them. And they want to return to that very same place to be able to rear their young. And they have babies every 2 to 3 years. And a couple of geese, a male and a female, will get together, and they'll stay together for 20 years. And they will make several nests at that same property for a long time. Well, the problem is that just breeds more geese and more problems, more poop for all these institutions to deal with. And so what I've learned that gets rid of, or that breaks that cycle, is the presence of a predator. I've noticed that whenever a coyote or a pack of coyotes move into a certain area, the geese leave, okay? So this is the predator under man's control that allows you to get rid of them all, okay? And so, in doing so, I use the latest in technology, battery technology, lithium batteries. They're very powerful. They work for 12 to 15 minutes, but the truth is you can clear a whole 18, even a 27-hole course with one battery pack's worth of motor runtime, which is typically between 12 and 15 minutes. And then you simply just bring it back, and each Goosinator comes with 2. You bring it back, you simply plug it into the charger like so, and then this charger charges it up until it's full, and then you're ready to go chase geese again. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is this happens to be my first broadcast of my newsletter, and I just wanted to let the 500 plus customers that I have know that if you need to use your Goosinator, the lithium batteries are wonderful, but what isn't so nice about them is they typically only work for 2 or 3 seasons, and then later they won't take a charge. So I'm here to tell you that if you need batteries, please either get a hold of me through my website, and I should say my email address, which is just my name, Randy at Goosinator.com, and let me know that you need them. Whereas if you have a goose problem, I am your one-stop shop to get rid of them. I've gone up against all the different technologies that are out there. There's sprays, there's all kinds of different products that supposedly get rid of them, but none of them are nearly as effective as the Goosinator. And so because of that, I've sold it all over the place. I have many references. If you guys are ever interested in knowing about, you can talk to the city of Denver, who bought 7 of them and love them, and they continue to utilize it to keep their parks clear and clean. To a point where once you teach geese, they're so smart, once you teach them that this Goosinator's moved in and now lives there by going on a route for about 2 weeks. After that, all you have to do is use, I have, as you can see right here, a decoy, or as I like to call it, an anti-decoy. It basically shows them what you do is you use a Goosinator for a while, then you put this up in here, you stick it in the ground, and it keeps them away. Now, if you never move these, the geese are smart enough to where they'll slowly come back. But guess what? For the most part, if you utilize a Goosinator and a couple of these decoys, you can have a whole area within your borders. You can keep it clear. Geese will go elsewhere. And I just want to let you know, this is one of the most humane ways of doing it. You know, other people want to go out there and hit them with a stick, or they want to do this and scare them out of there. Technically, you're not allowed to do that. And second of all, it's not that effective. Whereas if you show them that this predator's moved in, and then the geese, what geese do is if they like an area, they'll all leave. Okay, and then 15 or 20 minutes later, they'll send a small number of scouts, 4, 5, or 6, just to fly over to see if that predator is still there. Now, they don't see it anywhere. They go back to their friends and say, hey, let's go back there and feed a while. Whereas if they see it, usually most golf courses will put this out in the back of one of their maintenance carts, or they'll use a few of the decoys. And when the geese, those scouts, see it, they say, no, he's still there. Looks like we need to go elsewhere. So that's what you're doing with the Goosinator. You're teaching geese that a predator has moved in, now lives there, and they need to go elsewhere. And so I just wanted to let the people that are interested in Goosinators know about that. And I wanted to also tell people that have a Goosinator that may need to start using it, because I just want to let you know that the season for chasing them has just started a little while ago, to a point where the geese are federally protected, to a point where you're not allowed to chase them after they have little ones. And that happens to be in April and May and June and July. But then back in August, you can start to get them out of there, okay? And so then you can utilize this. So we're at the beginning of that. And I just want to let people that know that already have a Goosinator that they simply probably need a couple new batteries to make it function again, real easy. And they can call me anytime that they'd like, and I'll even give you my number, 303-916-1676, or just email me, randy@goosinator.com, and I can get anybody set up with batteries and or any questions about any of this that is working or not working. And simply, you can turn this on. This is the controller. You slide a battery in the Goosinator, plug it in, you're ready to go, and you can get it right out of there.